Okay, so this video is way out of my wheelhouse. Or the topic is way out of my wheelhouse. Never done anything like this before. I've got a weekend's worth of training that will be discussed eventually later on in the video. But I have absolutely no formal knowledge of the topic at all. All I have is what I've studied on the internet, and my God, have I studied. Hours and hours and hours and hours. I have watched probably every single video there are that's relevant to this particular topic, and I've read hundreds and hundreds of forum posts. What am I talking about? Talking about a motorcycle. Specifically, a Chinese manufactured motorcycle. Now, most of you know that my hobbies involve model airplanes and autonomous drones sometimes, CNC stuff, laser engraving, flight simulation, a lot of flight simulation. It's like, where the hell is this motorcycle thing coming from? Well, there's a story behind that. And if you'll indulge me a little bit, I'll tell you this story. See, I've always wanted a motorcycle. I wanted a motorcycle since I was a little kid. And in 1979, I got one. I traded some RC airplane stuff that I'd gotten from somebody else to a neighbor that had a Bultaco 125 dirt bike. Now, this dirt bike was kind of odd in that it lacked a piston ring, so the engine wouldn't run. And I lived at the top of a really tall hill. And, you know, kid logic being what it was not really that big of a deal for me to, since I lived at the top of the hill, to ride the bike all the way down to the bottom of the hill. Sometimes with the gears engaged, sometimes not. But I'd get going, you know, 15, 20 miles an hour with the clutch pulled in or the bike in neutral. And I had a grand time. And then my mom caught me. Well, it was all over but the screaming and the crying, and I wasn't the one doing the screaming. And it was so bad that I basically kind of forgot motorcycles for an extremely long time, like 42 years. So I don't recall what triggered this whole thing. But I found out recently, as of like within the last year or so, that you could learn how to ride a motorcycle in a formal setting. There's a local company that I'll put a link in the description that provides what's called a basic rider course that's published by the Motorcycle Safety Foundation. And this is it's a formal course where you're in a group of folks with small motorcycles of like 250cc and below. And you work with all of the things as if you had never ridden a motorcycle before. I was the only person in the whole class that had never ridden a bike, at least a running motorcycle. So I went through the course and I bombed. I didn't have enough time or enough practice to work my slow speed skills in order to pass a couple of the elements of the test that's required to get your permit. So at that point I decided I needed to get my hands on a motorcycle so I could practice on my own time, so when it came time to do the retest, I wouldn't bomb it again. Well, so I ordered a motorcycle called a TBR7. Let's back up a little bit. I didn't know the TBR7 existed. Shortly before my class started, I had been searching YouTube, and I ran across a YouTube channel called Bikes and Beards. And it's basically run by a well-meaning guy and his buddies that own a used motorcycle dealership, and he talks about this Amazon motorcycle that he bought. And he kind of hams it up and, you know, uncrates the bike and blah, 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 and runs it off. And my brain's going, wait a minute. You can get a full-size motorcycle for about $2,000 that is not going to kill you the instant you try to start it. So I started doing more research, and I discovered that there was this really deep community behind these Chinese manufactured motorcycles. They're all about 230 cc's, and some are smaller. They're clones of an original Honda CG 125 engine design, I think, that was in the 70s. That is a simple power plant. Instead of having an overhead cam driven by a chain, it's got a couple of push rods, and it makes for a longer lasting, less maintenance intensive motor. And these engines were designed by Honda for the foreign market, like, you know, Thailand, Indonesia, India, those countries where bikes were typically overloaded, and maintenance frequency was very poor. Well, speed forward 30, 40 years, and China has been manufacturing these clones for quite a while. And it's only been within the last, I would say, 6 to 8 years, maybe less, that they're becoming more popular. So I'm sitting here going, okay, well, originally I was looking at a first bike of a Kawasaki Versys X300. And that was a motorcycle that would set me back right around $7,000. So my decision at that point was, I'll take the rider course, I'll pass it, I'll bite the bullet, I'll take out the loan, and I'll buy the bike. Well, I didn't pass the class, but I'd also discovered these Chinese manufactured motorcycles. So I ordered one called a TBR7, made by Tao Motors in China, and it was on sale for $13.49 delivered. Well, I placed that order, I think, shortly before my class or something like that. It may have been after. It's kind of foggy at this point. It's 30 days ago. I'm old. I forget. At any rate, you know, days go by and weeks go by, and there's no shipment of this bike. And every time I ask, it's the same answer, 2 or 3 weeks. You know, when I ordered the bike, you know, I took the company at their word. It said, you know, yeah, this pre-order, but we're expecting early June. Where early June became middle of June, and then middle of June became mid to late June, and then mid to late June became late June. Well, I've got a course coming up at the end of July. I've got to have practice. So I started looking for other sources of these motorcycles. And that's where I found this one. This particular bike is made by, or at least it's imported by, a company called Ricky Power Sports. And it's a Hawk DLX 250 that's electronic fuel injection. It's about $1,000 more than the TBR7, but it was available from Amazon in stock, delivered within a week or two. So I'm like, okay, we're done doing this. I canceled the order with the other company, and I placed my order with Amazon on the 1st. Well, it's now the 8th, and I've got a motorcycle. And that's impressive for 2 things. One, I had no clue before this whole adventure started that you could buy a motorcycle on Amazon that was meant for adults. And 2, that the company that shipped it to me even had stock. Because of the whole coronavirus thing, these motorcycles are rare as hen's teeth in inventories right now because they're just not being made right now. Or they're either in transit or whatever. I've heard all kinds of reasons as to why the supply chain is starved of these bikes, but the base reason is coronavirus. So that brings us to now, where I am a computer programmer with 0 mechanical skills regarding engines of any kind, and I'm now in possession of a motorcycle that I barely know how to ride, and I also have to completely put it together. Well, okay, not completely, okay? What's in this box is mostly complete, but there are steps to be taken. In fact, I've done a pile of research, And I've ended up with a whole pile of stuff that needs to be done before and after you do the first ride in this motorcycle. So the point of this video is to take some of you folks along for the same journey that I'm having, knowing absolutely nothing about motorcycles and learning from the ground up. And we'll see where that goes. But the first thing that we need to do is get the bike out of the box. So why don't I find a pair of scissors and I'll move my beer and we'll get moving. By the way, I'll be doing edits to this, but I'm also going to put up for upload a completely unedited version so you can, as a viewer, can see everything that either worked or didn't work with my whole process. I'm hoping that this video can be as educational for people that want these Chinese manufactured motorcycles as it can be, because this is the deep end of the pool. It doesn't get much deeper. There's a lot of folks that buy these bikes, they slap them together, pour gas in them, take off, and then they bitch like crazy because the bike breaks down or there's this problem or that problem, okay? This motorcycle is built to a price, okay? It is not a turnkey thing like a Honda or a Kawasaki, okay? You as a motorcycle owner, especially of this kind of motorcycle, need to know exactly what the hell you're getting into so you can properly assemble and maintain the bike. You don't have to be a rocket scientist, you just got to be a responsible adult. So that being said, let's get the wrapping off of this monster. Let's see, do I adjust the camera a little bit? Let's adjust the camera just a little bit. We'll point you down just a little bit so you guys can see. Oh, come on. There we go. And hopefully I can. Am I still in frame? I've got my head cut off. Okay, let's adjust this a little bit. Yeah, that's good for the camera. Smack the tripod. Yeah, it's good enough. Okay, so glasses in my pocket so they don't end up on the floor. And let's cut the shrink wrap off of this thing. I have no idea what condition this thing is in. It's been my understanding that from YouTube videos I've seen that some of these bikes are in perfect condition and some of them look like somebody kicked one down the staircase before they shipped it. I am really hoping that this is not one of those they kicked down a staircase. The crate under this cardboard is made out of steel. And that's how they're shipped in the container from China. This particular bike was drop shipped from Dallas Power Sports in Dallas, Texas. For basically the same price that they're on Amazon. Okay, wow. It blows my mind. I've got a bike in a box. This is just insane. And it smells like a motorcycle too. By the way, the motorcycle I ran during the basic rider course was a Yamaha TW200. It was a fun ride. I put a whopping 18 miles on it in the parking lot I was practicing in. And I am firmly convinced that if you could get the wheels to stick, it would climb a tree. It's geared that low. It's really kind of bizarre. Okay, so we're gonna kind of peel this box off, and I'm hoping I'm not gonna knock over a studio light. And there we go. Holy shit, it's a motorcycle. This is a motorcycle in a box. That's pretty goddamn impressive, I think. The interesting thing is I suspect that Honda dealers and Kawasaki and all these other guys, when they get their motorcycles from Japan, they look just like this, except the dealer goes through and it does all the prep and all the assembly work and the testing and the oil change and everything else that I'm going to go through here. So you as an end customer, all you have to do is show up, throw your money at them, put gas in it, and go hit a tree, which I hopefully will not be doing. I'm looking forward to cutting up this metal too. I want to see how well it welds for other projects. So that being said, let's get on this. Okay, so here's where we're at so far. Still in the crate. I apologize in advance for the audio. This camera does not have an input for an audio jack, so I can't use my lav mic, which means it picks up everything. Anyway, this is what it looks like. The reason I'm using this camera is because the autofocus on my T6 is really slow, and most of this would look really, really blurry if I was doing that with this camera, or with that camera. So you can see all the stuff that it's got. There's a box of parts and accessories. I think that thing down there is a headlight. It's a little thing about EFI, what's it say? Inspection procedures of EFI system, or whatever the hell that means. I think the owner's manual is right there. Looks like a machined aluminum gas cap. That's kind of cool. This is how it's held in the crate. It's interesting that this crate, these are bolted. I've seen some where this crossbar has been welded and then the frame had been hit hard enough that it snapped the welds. And I don't see any real damage or any of the classic quote-unquote birthmarks that these bikes get from poor handling, but we'll see. I still have plastic to get underneath, so let's get to that. And for that I'll switch to the other camera and the lav mic. Now we got to take the bike out of the packaging. And we need to be careful doing it. So let us find appropriate sockets, and of course they're going to be metric. Whoops, nope. Oh yeah. Prepared? What the hell is prepared? Okay, so I've heard rumor that those sockets are, or those bolts are 10 millimeter. So let's grab a 10 millimeter. Oh, look at that. Okay, so we got a 10 millimeter on that end, and that's a 3/8 drive. Yeah. That's a 3/8 drive. Now, is the bolt on the inside the same? It's not, it's larger. That's kind of strange. But okay. So, let's try a 12. Yeah, it is a 12, okay. So we got a 12. Put this in R for race. I don't know if these bolts are permanently attached or what the deal is here. And of course it runs off into the corner. And we just gotta work our way around, I suppose. Test a theory here, just for shits and giggles. Yeah, the bolts appear to be, or the nuts anyway, seem to be part of the frame. So that's an interesting change. And of course I'm dropping bolts everywhere, as one does. And I really should not have done this without gloves on, but here we are. Okay, those are all the top bolts. And now, I need to do this wiring here. This appears to be is that the only one? There we go. Oh, there's another one right here. Front tire. Yay. I suspect my hands are just getting disgusting on this. The tread looks really nice. Or the pattern. For what little I know about these things. You can see that. So we'll rest this over here. Okay, we're back, but this time with gloves. These are the gloves I used with my resin 3D printing. And I cannot believe when I was listing the litany of things that I do, I forgot 3D printing. It's a grievous, grievous error on my part. Okay, so wire over here, cardboard over there. Pop right off of there, okay. Yeah, this metal's not real thick, but I bet it'll cut up nice. And can be used on other projects. Okay, so yeah, these bolts were pressed in or something. That's kind of interesting. Okay, so we'll get those two on the bottom. Is that all? No. These are welded or attached somehow, it looks like. Oh, I get it. I understand. There were more bolts to take out. There we go. something else. More wire back here, looks like. In the back of this crate looks kind of banged up, but the bike itself doesn't look damaged. Oh, other side. Okay. What have we got so far? Well, this looks really nice. Some sealed packages that I will get to here shortly. Put my coffee cup back over here. Gotta have that coffee cup. Okay. Package here. That looks to be the headlight. Or headlight assembly. An accessory box of some kind. Anything else? Yes. I'm not sure what the hell that is. I suspect I will figure it out shortly. An industrial-sized bag of desiccant. Or two. Remember, do not eat. Yeah, okay, these two are plastic guards that go on the forks. And that's all, I think. No, there's more, but we got to get this plastic off, so let's do that. This is the front part that fits there. And there's a little scuffing on the top of those nuts. I really can't complain too much if that's the extent of it. There's the handlebars, all nice and wrapped up. These are next, and I don't think think those are 10 millimeter, are they? There they are. And I think these are packing bolts. I'm not sure if they're the actual nuts you're supposed to use. Bolts are get used here or not, but it's entirely possible. Yeah, the nut is attached. I don't know how well you can see that, but it's pressed on or maybe spot welded, resistance welded maybe, I don't know. Okay. Now we've got these two things. We have the owner's manual and the LY250-5 motorcycle EFI system notice, which is that. It cracks me up that they all call these bikes 250s, and I think with that exception, they're all 229cc engines. So, no idea. So I think I'm safe to take my gloves off for right now, because one of the first things on my fancy little to-do list right here is we need to get that battery out of there, because there's a battery behind this panel here and it does not come charged, or at least my research tells me that it does not come charged. Yeah, there's the birthmark, I think. Yeah, it's chewed up just a little bit right there. I'm not going to worry that much about it, because I'm going to replace these plastics with different ones that I can paint, because I would like to have a bike painted white. So I believe this is the correct screw for that. It appears to be. Does this just pop out of here? Well, I hope I didn't fucking break something. And I did. God damn it. I did. Okay, so we've got broken plastics right out of the gate, but that was my own goddamn fault. See? This little pin right there. So I will have to, maybe a little JB Weld will fix that. I don't know. Damn it, that's disappointing. But not entirely unexpected, I guess, right? Okay, here's the battery. And how do we get the battery out? Okay. So the battery appears to be a 3-amp battery, but it needs acid in it. And I think the acid is in the box. So let's go deal with that real quick. Gotta remember when I'm taking the body panels off to pull straight out and not to pinch. And here is the battery acid. And there's plenty of videos out there showing guys filling these things, so I am not going to show that. I'm going to pause the video, go handle that, get it put on the charger, and we'll resume this. We are recording. Okay, so battery is in charge. The next thing that's on my list, I should probably bring my cart over here, kind of in frame-ish. I don't have the room. At any rate, so we need to remove all the plastics, inspect all the wiring. The reason for that is that sometimes the wiring on these bikes is routed in such a way that it's going to pinch. And if it pinches, you're going to have a bad time, because eventually that pinch will cut through the wire outer jacket, and you'll have short circuits and all over bad time. So what I need to do is figure out how to get this seat off, because we've got stuff going under the tank too. So now I get to get down on the ground and find out how that comes out. That 10 millimeter? That certainly looks like it. So maybe I'll get lucky. It is not. It might be a 10? A 10 maybe? Well, let's take a look. 9. I've got a 9 handy. Let's try a 9. A 9 is too large, which means we're going to an 8. It's 11. There's an 8. Winner, winner. Okay, I'm gonna move. I'm gonna move my car because it's just in the way, and you guys can't see it anyway, so it's okay. Close that door. Okay, some jerk cross-threaded that bolt. That does not make me happy. Again, built to a price, so pay attention to what's going on. And I have another opportunity to break side plastics. So let's not take that opportunity. There we go. This one wasn't even plugged in all the way, which is okay. Okay. And this side is the fuel injection and everything else. I may get new bolts and chase these things with a tap. So I'm missing something else, aren't I? Hey, that was too easy. I knew that was too easy. Oh wow, they lock-headed bolts on this thing. Holy crap. That's like on the list of things that have to be done is Loctiting bolts. But I'm not sure how this damn seat comes off of here. There's two. Does it just slide back? Ah, there we go. Okay. That's what the interior of the seat looks like. Gotta show the class, right? Okay, now we'll grab the better camera. And we can take a look at this. As you can see, this is the electronic fuel injection unit. It's my understanding. I guess it's made by Delphi. So that's either true or it's a clone. That wiring looks pretty good. Excuse me. One of the things discussed in the forums is opening up the air box. And I don't know if that's really required in this case. We'll see. I think that is the turn signal flasher. And one of the concerns that was mentioned was, or about these bikes in general, is that you can get water ingress in here. And that's like really bad. So I may need to do something in order to seal this area up. Maybe I can 3D print a part that will just fit in there. Anyway, that's the top of the air box. That wiring looks pretty good. I'm not quite sure what the hell that is. We've got extra, okay, wait a minute, there's a fuse and, okay, it's a fuse and a spare fuse. And again, a fuse and a spare. Okay, I believe that's the coil. I'm not crazy about how flimsily that's attached, but I don't see any really bad spots that make me nervous. That's the positive lead for the battery. That's the ground lead for the battery. This is the battery strap. And I'm going to go put this away so I don't lose it. Okay, so, geez, do I really want to dig in to taking that tank off? That's the position where I broke that thing. Might be a voltage regulator, not sure. This is the Bendix end of the starter motor, I think. Oh my God, look at that. Now, the reason I exclaim about that is because normally, or at least what I've read, that these chains come just drum tight. And that looks to be considerably loose. I don't know. I need an internet opinion about that because I have no goddamn idea if it's correct or not. There's a peg. Oh, look at that. I cut myself already. Jesus Christ. I'm going to fix that. Okay, so let me handle that really quick and I'll be back. Okay, where was I? Somewhere around here. So that is the speed sensor for the front wheel. And that is the clutch handle and the horn, lights, turn signal controls. Like I said before, handlebars. This is the instrument cluster. It's digital. And this is what I was talking about. there's actually thread lock on these things. So that's kind of interesting. Kickstarter. More wires tied down. Rear brake. Passenger peg. This looks to be stainless steel. I've been told it is. Not sure. This side plastic's got to come off because one of the tasks before first start is adjusting the valves. So, yeah. So I need to think about this for my next step, and I'll be back. Okay, so the executive decision is going to be this. I'm going to finish assembling the bike, or at least getting it off the crate. We'll get the front wheel put onto it, and then I'll start going through some of the items on my list. So, that being said, let's start untangling wires. I've got a motorcycle jack that I bought from Harbor Freight that is designed to lift motorcycles. God, that's dumb, but it is what it is, I suppose. So, I'm wondering if I shouldn't just start assembling as I've got it here. So why don't we go ahead and do that? $10 millimeter. 3/8. That's slightly stripped. That does not please me at all. But again, it's a motorcycle built to a price. And that price does not allow for a whole lot of QC. And I can understand that. That side. I do not have any torque values on these bolts yet. I will find them. And these are marked 9.8, which I'm assuming is a good thing. Get that bit of plastic out of there. And now we've got to get all this tape off of here, so let's go ahead and do that. Oh well. If only you could ship a battery pre-filled, right? And you can if it's a sealed gel cell, but not a standard lead acid like the one included here. Let's not scratch the shit out of the gas tank either while we're doing this. That would be bad. Oh, I need a better table to do this on. There's one end. Yay. Or something. There is the other end. Because it all falls onto the ground and scratches everything. I don't recommend doing this by yourself. An assistant is a handy thing to have. Okay, now you're not going anywhere. And I'm gonna show you really quick, because this is supposed to be for complete noobs, right? So, you whip out the other camera. Oops. Take the lens cover off. Okay, see those grooves right here? Okay, those grooves need to be in the center of this mount. Because as the mount closes, it's going to grip the knurling that's been put in the handlebar. So that's how that works. Do you feel educated now? I certainly hope so. Okay, where's Mr. Stripped Bolt? Or partially stripped. That just irritates the hell out of me, but it is what it is, I guess, right? He pays your money and he takes your chances. And I'm only going to snug these up a little bit because I'm going to have to adjust them once I get on the bike, so they're set for my comfort. You know, let's get an extension on that. That is just not working out. That's not long enough. That's long enough. Okay, that should work out for that. Okay, so rumor has it this is next. How does that attach? It fits like so. All right. And I will grab the other camera and show that to you. Okay, so this is the instrument panel. And it's got those 3 mounting bolts and the wiring harness coming out of it. And it's got 3 rubberized mounts, and that's where this thing goes. Like so. Now, I have to find the nuts that go on those. So let's go do that. And I think it's in the box over here. We've got this is the foot or rear brake pedal, plastic. This goes on the crossbar of the handlebar. That is our shift lever. And here we've got miscellaneous hardware with reflectors that I probably won't install. So let's find the nuts that go on and we'll go from there. It is really hot in my workshop right now. I mean, unpleasantly warm. We've got this cute little thing for the gas tank. I think this is a vent of some kind. This goes on the fuel cap. So since we're here and I've got it in my hand, we'll just put it on there, I guess. Well, we'll try. And then that's what you end up with. It would have been nice had they spent some time taken the machining edges off of this gas cap, because there are some sharp edges to that I don't particularly care for. It does. Okay. Need to use a washer on that. And I'm willing to bet that that is a smaller nut that I'm using. Maybe it's a 9? No. Is it a 10? Oh, holy cats, look at that. It is a 10. Okay. So, I'll be damned. Put a little bit of Loctite on this thing. That's not the one I was looking for, but it'll do the job. Oh, man, it's warm. So let's just get this handled. Okay, there is no room for that and that, so I'm going to have to assume let's get the other two started before I start dicking with that. And we'll just use a wrench. Okay, so we are resuming with putting things together. So let's see what we got here. Let's some more of the wire tie off. And it looks like it's grabbing a couple of things here. So it's got the speedometer, speed sensor that attaches to the wheel. Is that going to fall out of there? That will fall out of there. So I'm going to be careful with that. And then this wrap continues to hold the clutch and light mechanism. So let's pop that off of there. Let's see what we got. Okay. We have a clutch lever and the lights. So I'm going to assume that, does it go like that or does it go like that? I'm going to assume it goes inboard. Like so, right? Yes, no, maybe. To the webs, I'll be back. So apparently, the lights go on first, and the clutch mechanism is inbound from that. So, we need a Phillips screwdriver. I wonder if that's 10. No, that's, is that 10? No, that's 8-ish. And you want to make sure the screwdriver fits the screw well. Otherwise you run the risk of ruining it. And you don't want to do that. Two. That's annoying. Oh, come on. I heard it hit. I know it's rolling around there somewhere. I don't like how torn up some of these threads look. But again, it's a bike to a price, right? I don't have one of those fancy helmet mounted cameras, so I can't show you the ins and outs of all of this. Got another screw here. Okay. Oh, because it's on the stupid wrench. Or on the... Yeah. He's nice. He's not very bright sometimes, but he's nice. I know these are not super tight. I didn't want them. That's not a bad clutch feel. I mean, granted, the only experience I've got with clutches is a TW200, but it's not bad. It's kind of tight, but I really only have one other thing to sample it against. So, okay, now I am going to have to get this bike off of here in order to do the brake pedal. So I guess it's time to bite the bullet and get yon motorcycle off of the the shipping packaging. To do that, I gotta do these. This is probably going to jump up because I think those springs are compressed, or the forks are compressed. So there we go. Okay. So where are we connected? Looks like 2 8mm. And these I suspect to get reused for the front. I can't even remember what the stupid thing is called. Fender. Oh, that is so sad. I couldn't remember the word fender. Apparently, it's been one of those days. Okay, so how big are we? 17mm? Okay, that's not on there very high. But what is that? That is a 17, okay. We've got the spacer here. Oh, yeah. I don't want to damage that bolt because that's my front axle. Okay, that worked for one. Jesus! Did not expect that to happen. Okay. Note to self. Don't drop new bike. This would be bad. Okay. Yeah, as soon as I let go of it, it's going to want to fall over. Quite sure that's not good for it. Down somewhere? I don't think so. Yeah, we're tied somewhere. We have to be. I just don't have anywhere. Oof. Okay, I understand what's going on. The bottom shock isn't connected. Okay. You gonna sit there? Just stay put. Oh, I hate the grinding I'm doing to these things. Can. Not easily, but I can. Now, let's see if I can't pump it up. There we go. Okay. Bike is officially not going anywhere on me. So yay. And that, yeah. Okay, so I have forgotten to buy grease. Those are the seat bolts. So my problem is that I really need to grease these axles, or the axle here, and the oh, what the hell is it called? The bolt for the tire. Not the bolt for the tire, the bolt for the shock absorber that's down in here. And I need also to pick up a tap because these bolts are trash. So I need to go to the store and get a tap and get some grease because I forgot that with all the other stuff that I bought. So I'm going to go handle that and I will be back. Yeah, it's even. There we go. That's where it's at. So, okay. Back in a few minutes. Yeah, we're doing that whole recording thing. Okay, so now that I'm back, I wanted to show you guys something. There's a spacer that goes on this wheel. Okay, it's right here. There's only one side it can go in on, and it's on the brake side. Slaps in right there, and you're done. So, let's see about getting this wheel attached here. So there's a plastic insert in the brakes. I may need to open these brakes up a little bit. Yeah. Open up with a screwdriver. It's not the greatest tool in the world for the task, but it gets it done. Grab the other camera to give you an idea as to what you're looking for. Okay, see, right in here is this little plastic piece, and this comes out, but we're not going to take that out yet. And if you put a screwdriver right there and pry gently, you can get the discs, or you can get the calipers apart a little bit. So let's go ahead and I'm going to grease the axle, and I need to get my hands on the speedometer input that goes on this side, and we'll get this wheel mounted. So this is day 3 of this process. If you're building one of these or putting one of these together, it's not going to be 3 days. It'll be a few hours, but I have a day job, so I get an hour or so in the evening to work on this, and doing the video prep and everything else makes it a much longer process than it normally would be. But now we're going to continue to put on the front wheel, and we'll go from there. I'm going to change the camera around a little bit so it focuses more on that area, and then we'll continue. Okay, let's get this show on the road. First thing I've got to do is grease up the axle and the speedometer sensor. Go ahead and get that handled. And this is the speedometer sensor here. You can see that. Adjust this around. So yeah. Focus, come on you little monster, focus. Right there, focus right there. You can do it, little camera. Or not. There it goes. It's got magnets in the end of it, and that's how it senses the speed. This spins inside the enclosure for the speedometer sensor, which is this thing right here. So use this as my table. And we shall go from there. So axle bolt. It looks cast. That bothers me. But it is what it is, I suppose. Clean crap out of the threads. Okay, so getting too old for this crap, huh? Just a little bit of grease here on the outside, some on the inside. That will hold that in place. And we will get some more. Seriously, come on. I don't think that's nearly enough. this is not working the way I planned it, which is not necessarily surprising. There is something wrong with my damn grease gun. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. This thing all nice and greased up. Keep those threads clean because I need to put what the hell do I need to put? Change gloves. Need to put Loctite on those threads. So I got to keep them clean. Speaking of which, let's get the Loctite. Okay, so the way this goes on, I'm going to take this little plastic piece out now that we're ready for it. This is going to go in here like so. First, this has to be installed. And that needs to come down just a tiny little bit. That's probably too much. Yeah. Okay, so run it up again. Come on. This is not easy with one person working on it. There we go. You gotta be careful not to knock that out. And there we go. Almost. Bucked it up. God damn it. The speedometer sensor popped off of the lock it was on. So now I've got to move it. Put it back. Like so. There we go. Make sure these threads are clean. Okay. So now I'm going to look at the manual, because in the back of the manual it tells me what the torque specs are for that bolt. So the rear calls out for 65 foot-pounds. But I don't know what it shows for the front. That's really annoying. There we go. Front wheel axle torque is 45 foot-pounds or 61 Newton meters. That took way too long to find. Okay, so we grab the shiny new torque wrench and we set it to 45 foot-pounds. That is 45. And I need a 17 millimeter socket, I'm pretty sure. Yep. That's a half drive though. I can't use a half drive. I have to use a 3/8. And as we chase the bolt across the floor, righty tighty, lefty loosey, right? And some thread locker on there. And you know, I didn't notice a washer when I took that off. And there isn't one. That's a shame. Man, I hope this is still recording. It is. Yay! All grist for the cutting room floor, right? Of course, one needs a 17 millimeter wrench on the other side in order to keep the axle from turning. But because I'm new, right? It's not 17 millimeters. What the hell is that? 15? No. 14, okay. And there we go. Now we raise it up a bit and see if the front wheel turns. Well, it turns well enough, I suppose. When I get a chance, I'll check that again. Okay, so we got that on there. But now we need to do that rear shock. So let's move the camera around. And I don't know if you guys can see that or not, probably not. But the rear shock is right here. and I got to lift this thing high enough that I can get that thing installed. So yeah, this is going to be fun. So I'm going to lower this a bit. Move it. Let's not screw up the brakes. Is that far enough in? Yeah. No? Yeah, no, that is. That's far enough in. Okay. It's like, how the hell do I get in there? Very carefully, I suspect. That's not off the ground yet. Getting to that bolt is going to be entertaining. I'm gonna stop the video here, work this out, and we'll be back. Okay, so the good news is I got the shock installed without too much trouble. I did cut myself again. I still don't know where I cut myself. So the next thing I need to do is put on the rear brake lever. So we'll go ahead and start working on that now. This is the, I think it's the brakes light switch, I think. I suspect. So we'll kind of provisionally stick that on there. It'll probably need to be adjusted. And we've got a couple of springs and a cotter pin. Now I want to, it's got a little bit of grease on it. That's probably good enough. So that goes in like so. But first I got to take this pin out. Gotta get some pliers. Okay. So now we can pull that pin carefully. Because frankly, I don't want to go to Ace to get another one. There it goes. Okay, so that goes in there like so. That goes like that. This will eventually go in there. That goes like that.
pin goes back in. No, I'm not crazy about that pin. I may replace that. Okay, so now I have to remember, oh, that goes in. That goes back over here. Where's that hole? I gotta find a hole. I have to do this blind. Okay, that's where the hole is. So this goes in like so. That goes in there. We bend back the cotter pins. Nobody but me can see. And I really can't even see them. I can just feel them. Okay. So now I have to check and make sure where those two springs go. Okay, so the big spring here goes onto that, and then it goes all the way out. Wow, it doesn't want to go, does it? What am I hitting here? Ha! I'm not nearly strong enough to make that work. But we'll figure out how to. And we have done it! Woohoo! Using a Hewlett-Packard branded T25 Torx wrench. Okay, and then that spring goes from here let's try that. In there. Yeah. Give that some more oomph, as it were. Okay. Brake is installed. Let's see, what's next? Okay, so up next are the turn signals, and those install here. So the first, or this side, the right-hand side, you'll want to grab the signal, or the signal that's got the blue and the green wire, and it uses a 14 millimeter nut. So, yes, I'm blocking this, I know, I'm a horrible person. Slide that in there. Turn the wheel, hope the bike doesn't fall over. Because it is on its own legs now. I'm not using the jack. And I'm going to put a little bit of Loctite on that, because we Loctite all the things. Because if we don't, nobody else is. And that was probably way too much Loctite, but there's no kill like overkill, right? And it is keyed, and the hole does have a slot in it. Okay, there's the first one. We'll do the second one. This one you can at least see me doing the thing. because my sorry ass is not in front of this camera. And again with some Loctite. It's starting to become a mess. I gotta clean the end of that off. Because the last thing I need to do is Loctite things I don't want to have Loctite on them. And the reason that I'm doing this Loctiting is because I was told by some very knowledgeable people that it's a good idea. So we'll do that. The other good idea, I have been told, is to put dielectric grease on the electrical connectors. This does two things. It prevents corrosion and it prevents water from screwing up your delicate wiring connections. So that is what we're going to do. This is the stuff that I use. I'll probably put a link in the description for it. But before I can use it, I need to dig in here for the mates to these lights. And look at all this stuff. So I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and put the dielectric grease on these other connectors, and then we'll go ahead and get the turn signals wired in. This is probably going to be a huge mess. Just do them a little bit at a time here. The compression of the connector is enough to push through the grease. So it's not like I'm putting all of this on here and then have it block the connection. Where did the other end of that go? I just had it. Ha! It dropped out of my vision. Okay, so this is not something I've experienced before. Oh, there it is. No, that's not it. Come on, you don't just lose a 6-pin connector or 9-pin connector. They just don't go away. Oh, no way. Here it is. I'm like, wait, what happened? My brain was all, I don't understand. And of course, you folks watching the video know exactly what the hell I did and are merrily snickering about it, which I'll give it to you. You earned it. Or I earned it, so laugh. It's okay. It's all good, folks. You got to make mistakes to learn things. Although most of the time, making mistakes doesn't involve a camera. But okay. Well, okay, unless you're a Karen, and then, yeah, it involves a camera. But they never learn from their mistakes, so.
fun times. You don't need a whole lot. I'm not trying to bathe these things in dielectric grease. I just noticed a little while ago when I was moving the bike that this thing is considerably larger than the TW200, and that really didn't register until it was set up and on its wheels. Come on. There we go. Yeah, let's wipe it on your pants. That's awesome. Your wife will love that, right? I am not going to pull hard enough to separate that because I'm willing to bet that'll break the connector. So let's not do that, but we'll do this one. Okay, so those are handled. And the next thing we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to do this turn signal. And we'll find us a green. Assuming that's ground. Push it in till it clicks. Then we've got an orange here. And again, push it in until it clicks. And now, oh, there it is. We can do the other one. One thing you want to make sure is that while you're working with this wiring, turn the handlebars every once in a while to make sure that any moving of the wires that you did is not binding up your steering at all. There is that indicator. And there is that indicator. Okay. So the last thing we have is this connector set here, and this goes to the headlight. So let's go take a look at that. And I'm gonna turn this out. Well, hey, you know, yeah, I'm gonna leave my dielectric there. Our next task is to mount the headlight assembly, okay? Now at some point you're gonna wanna take this off because it does have an incandescent bulb there and it looks like an incandescent running light. It's my understanding that you will eventually wanna replace these with LEDs, and that's something I'll do after I go ahead and get my permit. I don't intend to ride in the dark, but it's a cheap upgrade, so I might as well get it handled. So let's go ahead and get some of that dielectric grease on the headlight indicator plug, or headlight plug, which is right here. And again, a little goes a long way. And we'll go ahead and we'll do that to the bullet connectors here. Oh, I hate setting that down on the concrete, but that's what it is, I guess. Okay, so let us get this handled. Ugh. It's too far down for me to reach, so screw it. That's a lot easier. So, green to ground, just like last time. Push it till it clicks. And again, push it till it clicks. Put these together. And Bob's your uncle, we're done. Okay, so there's two holes right here in a plastic connector, okay? And there's a peg here on the bottom that made into that. So what we have to do is carefully stick all that wiring. Whoops, not done with that yet. I gotta bring this boot back down. Because it covers a whole lot of that wiring. Go. Okay, put that right there. We gotta watch out for that brake line. Go over the top of that. Push this down. What am I hitting? Okay, there's something decidedly weird going on here. So here's the interesting issue that I have. I've got this little dowel basically lined up so it's perpendicular to the forks. And you can see that the mount on this side is too high, which is really kind of strange because the difference at the top of this clamp is not that different. So now I need to figure out how to adjust this thing because the headlight assembly won't fit properly unless these are too even. And I've measured, and this bracket is 2 3/8 and this bracket is 2 3/8, but they're not on the same plane when it comes to these mounting holes. So that's what I need to work out. Okay, so the issue took a little bit of work to solve, primarily because of that alignment or misalignment that I talked about. The other problem was because of sorry, I'm changing tools and I can't talk and do that at the same time. So there's two things going on here. First, this clamp here is a little bit lower than the top of the nut for the fork than this side, okay? So there's probably a 2 millimeter difference across the top. And then the bracket on this side had rotated forward a bit when that clamp nut was tightened. And because of that, it was misaligned in two axes, up and down and front and back. So what I did is I loosened up the clamp on this side in order to bring that bracket down a little bit. And then I went ahead and put this bolt in first and then got this one over here started. So what I'm going to do now is get these put in. And then this will be done. But now that I have that done, I need to retighten this clamp. Otherwise, vibration over time, it may start to shift, and well, that would leave me in a really, really bad place if I'm riding this motorcycle at speed. Yeah, you see that? You hear it move? Okay, that's about as tight as it was. And yeah, I put it back on the jack stands to make it, or back on the lift to make it a little bit easier to move. So let's move on to the next thing. The next thing, I think I'm going to be putting dielectric grease in the wiring over here. And then I'm going to install the gear shift lever. And then we'll install the battery. And see if the great beast is alive. So
Okay, we've got a number of connections to work with here. Some of you may be wondering why I've not removed the tank to inspect the wiring. I'm kind of nervous about doing that because of all of the wiring and plumbing that's going on to do there. Because this bike is fuel injected, it has an electric fuel pump inside the tank. And there's also, and then there's wiring for the tank, and then there's wiring for the wiring for the sending unit in the tank, which is for the controls the fuel gauge, and then wiring for the fuel pump itself, plus the plumbing for the fuel pump. And you know, like I said when I started this whole process, I barely know anything about motorcycles. So I do not want to mess with anything that I do not absolutely have to mess with. And barring a wiring issue that I know about now, I'm not going to touch this for a while. My primary need for this motorcycle is as a training vehicle. And if something electrical doesn't work that doesn't prevent the bike from running, I am not going to worry about that right now, because this bike is not going to be on the street for a while. Is this? That is a relay of some kind. It's 30 amp 12 volt DC. That might be the starter relay. I don't know. But it only goes together one way, so it's not like I can screw it up. Well, I can screw it up, but let's just say that chances of me doing so are less. And I'm not going to mess with these. I'm not going to do dielectric on these fuse things. That should be fine. Okay, so I think that leaves us with the battery installation. So let me go ahead and get that battery, and we'll go from there. And I also need the little rubber strap that holds the battery in. And I need to get my gear shift here. It is 10 millimeter, yeah, okay. And it looks like I need not a Phillips screw, yeah, a Phillips screwdriver. Should do the job. Make sure I get the right size screwdriver though. That one wobbles a bit. That was too large. So it looks like we're going with this one. Okay. And as I mentioned before, the battery has been charged. Okay. This is the exciting part. In theory, anyway. Let's hope it doesn't get exciting, because getting exciting would be bad. Very, very bad. Okay, so we are held in. And I do believe you're supposed to plug the positive inside first. So we'll go ahead and we'll do that. Okay. And Butterfingers McGee in here. You know, I'm not going to use a Phillips screwdriver. I'm going to use a nut driver on this. Okay. My toolbox is a mess because I was reorganizing it completely for this project. And things kind of got out of hand. As things do. And get that nut to behave. There we go. And now we do the same thing for the ground side. And this should not spark at all because I should not get any sparks when I put this together because there shouldn't be anything pulling any power because the bike is turned off and the key is out. Oh, it did spark just a little bit. So there is something going on in this bike that's pulling power that shouldn't be. Curious. Okay, I'm going to get an acid brush and we're going to goop some dielectric goo on there. Okay, so apparently I moved all my acid brushes into the wood shop because I was using them as glue brushes. So, got an acid brush. And we'll get some of this goo on there. And this will prevent the traditional corrosion of battery cables that a lot of people see and have to deal with. That's not fitting on there the way it's supposed to. I wonder if I've got that cable on wrong. I may have that cable on wrong. So, let's turn that a little bit. Yeah, because it looks like it wants to be aimed. Man, this dielectric grease is really slick shit. Yeah, I gotta move this. I gotta turn it. Oh well. Move you like so. It's gonna fight me every step of the way, so I gotta grab the screwdriver. I need to be able to push on it a little bit. And this is why I write software for a living and not work on motorcycles or anything else remotely mechanical, because it never works out. Okay. I hope that's adequate. I really do. Now, before I goop up the other one, does it need to be adjusted too? No, it's good. Okay. So that's that. Let me grab my other camera and we'll take a look at first power on. And hopefully there's no sparks, because I have it on good authority that sparks are bad. Okay. Uh-oh. So, you put the key in, and we'll peel this off of here. Oh, it's so satisfying, isn't it? Okay. And we'll turn it on. Ooh, look at that. It's alive. And the lights are really bright. So, I'm gonna go ahead and power this thing off and finish my tasks. Wasn't that exciting? Okay, so, let me take a look at my list here. So one of the things on the list was to clean the brakes. Now, I did not do that primarily because I checked to make sure there was no oil on the discs, okay? The reasoning behind that, I've discovered in one of the videos, is that if there's any oil on the discs, it may be absorbed by the brake shoes. And if the brake shoes get oil in them, you're gonna have really weird brakes. And there's this really creepy, scary process about burning the oil out of the brake shoes, and I didn't want to get into that. Okay, so, but I checked the discs, and there's no oil, they're clean. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna check that off my list. Remove the plastics and inspect the wiring. We've effectively done that. Check the wiring connectors and put dielectric grease on the connectors. We've done that. I also, while I was doing that, took a peek to make sure that the connectors were fitting into the shells properly. Although you didn't see me do that. I did that yesterday when I was puttering around out here. Okay. One of the things was install a fuel filter. This is fuel injected. I have no idea if it's got a filter in it or not. I am not inclined to mess around with it at this time. So I'm just going to check that off and I'll learn later. Now, oh, I've got to get that shift lever installed. So one of the things coming up is adjusting the valve clearance, okay? The valves on these Chinese manufactured motorcycles tend to be really tight from the factory, and that leads to valve damage and all kinds of bad things, at least to my understanding from what I've read and seen in videos. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to adjust the valves. I'm not going to film that. There are a number of really good videos done by people vastly more intelligent than I am regarding these things about how these valves get adjusted.
I'm going to be following their advice. Don't follow mine other than adjust the valves. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and attach this, which is the shift lever, and then I'm going to start working on the valves. Once that's done, I'll go ahead and I'll resume video, because the next task is draining the oil, and I will explain about the oil when I return. So we'll see you here in a few minutes. Bah, what do you bet it'll be an hour at least. Okay, so the valves have been adjusted, and you can't see me. Of course. So let's get my chair going here. Move you just a little bit. There we go. Okay, so where we're at right now is the valves have been adjusted. I did the 5 thou on the front, which is the exhaust valve, 2 thou in the back, which is the intake. That's recommended from various YouTube sources. The thing about that is I always cross-check. If they agree generally, that's what I run with. So the next task is to change the oil. Engine's never been started. Oh, I should also mention that if I got these valves backwards and the engine was not at top dead center, or it was 180 degrees out, this bike is not going to start. So fingers crossed that the bike starts. I will hold off putting the plastics on it until the bike is running. Okay, so the oil. The oil that the bike is shipped with is basically shipping oil, or that's what it's called. It's universally recognized that the oil is not that great, and it needs to come out of the engine before you ever start it. And so that is what my next task is going to be. And the oil drain is right down here. And let's get that task underway. And I do not remember the size of socket I need to get that oil drain off in there. I think it's like a 17 or something like that. I'm not sure, but gloves are involved. I probably should have done this before I started the camera, but what the hell, right? Oh, we have a winner. Okay. So I need a 1/2 inch drive. Turn it to the left to get it going. As I smash my transmitter. Take much to get that loose, fortunately. Around, get that open, then we can do this, or maybe. Oh, for Pete's sake. There we go. Go. Let that drain.
in here as well as a spring and a kind of a metal screen. And videos that you see of people changing the oil in these bikes, you'll see this thing that I'm talking about here. I'm not going to show it to you right now. Let that drain. Go ahead and open up the fill. Let a little air through there. Oh, you are kidding me. It's not supposed to be on there that tight, is it? Or am I just weak? Yeah, I'm probably weak. Nothing a pair of channel locks can't solve, right? Or not. Boy, whoever put this thing on did not want it coming off again. There we go. Now there's air going in there. So that should help it drain. So the oil you're supposed to put in these engines until they're broken in is a non-synthetic oil. And it's been recommended by multiple sources to use a Shell Rotella T4, which I have a gallon of. This is what said gallon looks like. Of course, if this thing decides to focus, I would be just astonished. Now, the oil has been draining for quite a while. I went ahead and I had to go to the store and I got a different oil. It's effectively the same Rotella T4, but it's 1540, not 1040 or 1030. So my next task is to put the drain plug back in and get oil put back in the engine. So let's do that. And I will spare you guys the fun of watching me put the stupid drain plug back in and everything else because, well, there's other people that show that stuff and I really don't need to because, well, you'll see it again somewhere else. Okay, so it's got gas, it's got a battery. There's a whole hell of a lot of traffic noise outside. If I screwed up the valves, it's not going to start. But let's give it a shot. And holy crap, is this a large fucking bike. I'm not used to the size of this thing. So we turn it on. We have a check engine light for some reason. Probably because it's not started. So let's put it in the run position. And the starter works. So let's try it. Kickstand interlock? Now it's in the run position. Now I'm willing to bet that I fucked up the valves. So let's turn it off and check, which is really kind of a bummer. Turn bike off. We'll be back. Okay, how many people guessed forgot to put the spark plug wire back onto the spark plug? Okay, let's try this again. Oh my God. This is why computer people don't belong on bikes without a lot of training. Okay, we turn bike back on. We make sure the switch is in run, and let's hit the starter. This is a lot of fun. Oh, that was nice. It means that I got the valves adjusted correctly, and I'm a complete moron for forgetting to put the spark plug cap back on. Okay, I am gonna put the plastics on this thing, and we'll go from there. Okay, folks, there it is. One completely assembled Hawk DLX EFI 250. And it was an interesting process. At least I thought so. Never done anything like it before. I will do so again, because I've got my eye on a Tau Tau Hellcat, which is a Grom clone, and a hell of a lot smaller than this bike. This thing, I get on it, and I'm on my tiptoes, and that doesn't make me very comfortable. That makes it, it's going to make it difficult to learn on, but by God, I'm going to do it. So I figured I'd save the best for last, the peeling of the plastic. If I can get a hold of it. I left all of these little bits on here so I could peel it, because I know some of you guys, this is your jam. There's another little piece of plastic right there. Lots of little plastic and happy little trees, right? Garbage can. And we've got this one here. I'll clean up later. Go. And I've tested all of these and they all work. Of course, we took that off already. Those didn't have any plastic, they came wrapped in plastic. Oh, there's the big one. There's that one. And I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. This plastic here, this is strongest. God, that's dumb, but It says this piece here. There's a peg underneath it that I snapped off when I was first opening the bike up. It did not hold with JB Weld, so I need to order a new one of those. But for right now, it'll do. But there we go. One complete motorcycle. And just to prove that I didn't break it, I turned it on again. Make sure we hit the start button. And then, yay! Okay, so, whoops. And that's it, folks. I may see you soon, I may not. But this one's in the can. Thanks for watching.